right, it's got a kind of a long intro there, y'all. Anyway, welcome for joining us. Let me turn that back on. Welcome for joining us and showing back up here and showing your support for this channel. Can y'all hear me? I can't hear myself. And so Bongo and Kimmy conspired with each other to send these 10 over, and this one is Drew and Ellie Holcomb, and the song is Feels Like Home. And Bongo says it's just a nice, mellow song. And, actually, let me just quote him. He says, he says, it's a little different this time, Mike. Just a nice song. We all have some things that are reminders of home when we are away from it. I'm sure you did in your travels around. Yeah, man, sometimes when you're away from home for so long and you can't go back without, finishing the mission at hand, you could be a whole on the other side of the planet. And at nighttime, you look at the moon and the stars, and you think to yourself, these are the same moon and the stars that my loved ones can see tomorrow, if or the day before, if and it that's kind of I know it's kind of sounds weird, but until you're in that position, um, you don't realize just how close we are, but how far apart we are. And at the time when there was a time when I was on an aircraft carrier, cell phones hadn't even been thought of yet, and so the only way you could keep in touch with your loved one is through mail. And man, everybody waited for that big old airplane to come in and land on the aircraft carrier with the mail bags. The mail hall is what we called it. And if it didn't show up that day for whatever reason, morale was definitely in the tank. So let's see what Drew and Ellie are bringing to the table, y'all.
Like an old friend takes you right back to the kitchen. You can almost smell the cake that your grandma made on your birthday.
Have you ever laid on your back under a poplar tree, thinking about all your memories, looking at the sky, wondering why this feels like home?
Like a Tennessee river in the morning takes your breath without a warning.
Feels like home.
Like smoke rising up from the mountains, all the beauty surrounds.
Feels like home.
Like Elvis and Dolly singing a melody that's bringing you
home.
'Cause it feels like home.
Feels like home. Feels like home.
Have you ever been driving down the highway, looking at the sunset? It'll make you forget all the troubles every day can bring.
Have you ever been staring up at the starlight, getting pretty close to midnight? Sounds just like the wind singing your name. Feels like home.
Like a Tennessee river in the morning takes your breath without a warning.
Feels like home.
Like smoke rising up from the mountains, all the beauty surrounds.
Feels like home.
Like Elvis and Dolly singing a melody that's bringing you home. 'Cause it feels like home.
Feels like home.
Not only are their voices nice, and the music and the words behind the song are awesome, and then you see that they're on a vacation with their kids, and those are memories that those kids will, when they're in their 30s and 40s, they'll remember this, and they'll be taking their own kids on a camping trip or on a canoe trip, or what have you, and they'll be telling their kids about their mom and dad taking them here, and wow, just seeing the mountains and seeing all the trees reminds me of my home. And I don't I live like 4 hours away from there now, and but every time I go, I got to go back in October and do some things for my parents' graves. Weed and pick up all the dead, whatever's on the graves. I try to do that twice a year. Um, but after that's done, after that kind of a maintenance thing is done, um, I drive through the back roads, the dirt roads that I grew up on, and I can hear the fun that we had with my buddies at the rivers. Where we used to swim and fish and hunt and all the things we used to do back in the 70s. And there's certain songs, there was a lot of John Denver back when I was there, in my formative years, that when I hear some John Denver songs, man, it takes me immediately back to where I grew up. So this is very, very nice. This is gonna be one of them songs for a lot of people to reflect on their own home when they have to leave, whether it's for financial reasons and to make a living, to pay bills or whatever. Can't necessarily stay where you grew up because there might not be enough occupations to go to support everybody that lives there. So yeah, unfortunately, man, that's just the way life is, and you just gotta suck it up and do what you do. You got when you got a family, you do what you do. As a man, you do what you do. There's no excuse. Your family has to be sheltered and they have to be fed. Bottom line, you come last, and rightfully so.
Feels like feels like home. Feels like home.
Beautiful.
Feels like home.
Made in Tennessee. Yeah, that was beautiful, beautifully shot. And I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but so in early 70s, my dad was stationed in Camp Pendleton. He was a Marine before me. And we lived in a town called Vista, right outside of Camp Pendleton, right outside of Oceanside, California. And he bought us dirt bikes in 1971, brand new SL70 Honda for me, and he got a Kawasaki 100. Both of them were what we used to call enduro, and they're not called enduros anymore. They're called purpose or something of that nature. But every weekend that I can remember, once until we moved back to Oklahoma, is we would go to the desert, a place called Ocatilla Wells in the deserts there of California, and we would camp and ride motorcycles Saturdays and Sundays. Go home Sunday, and I will tell you, those are some of the best memories uh, growing up. Just like you know these kids here, man. I wasn't going to Disneyland. I wasn't going to Knott's Berry Farm. I wasn't going to anything entertainment like that. We were out there, and the reason why I brought this up is because during that period of time in Southern California, there was a lot of these campgrounds that catered to motorcycles, uh, and off road motorcycles, and we would go, and there was one in particular called Butterfield Country. That was the name of this campground, and people would show up on a Friday night after work in their campers, and they'd set up, and then just like they were showing here, they had like a little square, a little dance pavilion where the parents and the kids would get together, and they in the evening, and they would. I can't remember if there was any. I don't think there was live bands. I think it was just music piped in, and people would dance, and the adults would drink beer, and the kids would. They had all these arcade games that you could go around and play. It was just a great, great growing up period, and that's kind of like what they're trying to emulate here. So, yeah, all right, man, that's gonna do it for me. Thanks, Bongo and Kimmy, for the request. Till I see y'all again. Catch you down the road. Bye, y'all.
I keep laying it on the line. One ride